Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going over something that I think will be very helpful, kind of breaking down whether or not your potential Amazon FBA product sucks. All right, well, that was an abrupt way of putting it, but it's true, right? You don't want to sell a sucky product. You want to sell a good product. And it's very confusing with all of these sources out there telling you different things. Some people saying, don't worry about competition. Some people saying, stay away from competition. Some people saying, sell this price range, sell that price range. Let's just break it down and show you kind of exactly what I've seen in my real experience, and just what my opinion and my take is on the subject. So personally, I like selling products where there's not a lot of sellers. That's just common sense to me, and it's worked out every single time I found a product that meets this criteria. It works great. And every time I've gone against it, I'm going to show you actually 3 different Jungle Scout graphs here, and this will work no matter what product research tool you have. We're going to go over what a bad one looks like, actually 2 bad ones, 2 different versions of a bad one, because there's more bad than good, and then what a good one will look like. So you could compare to yours, maybe before you launch, save you some time. So really quick before we get going, I did want to remind you guys, the giveaway is going to be going on for 4 more days. You can enter to win this $50 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is comment Amazon FBA in this video, make sure you're subscribed, leave a like on the video, and then follow me on Instagram. I will be checking, so make sure you're actually following me there. And then I'll be picking someone with a random YouTube comment picker in 4 days on the 14th. So if you're watching this video, it's before then, you could still enter to win. I'll also be giving away a free one-on-one call with myself. Other than that, guys, let's jump right into it. So here we go. This is the first example, the one that I see most common, and this is the lack of paying attention to the number of competitors. So a lot of people have historically said, at least when I used to watch a lot of Amazon FBA, teachers out there, was don't sell something with high reviews. And that's true in this case. There are a lot of reviews, and I wouldn't really want to compete with that. That's really high, right? 3,000 reviews, that takes a long time to generate that many reviews. But what I notice mostly being correlated, not so much reviews, because I do have products that compete against several hundred reviews and I only have 15 or whatever it is. But the more so what I see is the issue as the number of sellers. 428 sellers for this specific chart. I obviously did not include, I cut it off right here where this arrow is. I dragged this chart out a little bit longer just to make it exaggerated, make you show you what I'm trying to explain here. There's a ton of sellers, so everyone gets goo eyes over these revenue numbers right here, but what they don't see is that maybe 10 people are doing that good, but you don't see the other 418 people doing $0 a month, $900 a month, $180 a month, right? So that's one thing you want to look out for, is the number of sellers. Don't get lazy and just look at results. Actually count the relevant number of sellers to your product, because Amazon's going to give you results that might be totally different. I've had headphones pop up with, cutlery and kitchen and dining. It's just, things can pop up in weird places, so you don't want to go by results. You want to actually count the number of sellers. So go through, look. That might be a little loud, I don't know. I don't feel like cutting it out. Go through and look at the pictures. Is that the right product? That counts as one. All right, let's move on to the next one. So make sure there's not a lot of sellers. The recommendation that I would give you is under 50. So definitely make sure you have under 50, italic, bold, underline, highlight it, under 50 sellers. Okay, that's what you want. So this definitely doesn't meet that criteria. So we're gonna say, that product sucks. Moving on. This is another common mistake. Finding a low demand market, low competition, but then there's no demand. So you don't want to go so far into the opposite end of the spectrum where there's actually no sales to be made. Now in this case, I forgot to include the sales price. That was something else I wanted to touch on. So this has a really low sales price, so I wouldn't really want to sell that either. That's something to look out for. I like above, we could put it here. I don't know why I keep typing, because I'm going to tell you anyway. Above $15 is generally a good rule of thumb. But sellers, there's not a lot. So there's 43. I counted this one out. The price, if I remember correctly, was around that $15 range. But here's the issue. Okay, so there's a couple people doing $4,000 a month, and keep in mind this is probably 30 to 50% profit. So maybe if they're lucky, making $2,000 a month profit, and then everyone else is doing $100 a month. Like, that is not significant enough for product sales to make a full-time living off of Amazon, especially not if you're going to try and rely on one product or two products, right? This is too low of demand. There's not enough customer attention on this market. There's not enough people that are actually trying to buy this product. So this is definitely not going to work. This one's really easy to explain. I actually see this more often than not. People like send me messages, say, hey, does this look good? And I'm like, how do you think you're like going to scale this and like make income from it? Like, there's only one person making $4,000. Like, there needs to be consistent amount of high revenue so that you could come in and there's actually room for you to sell the product. It looks like there's not a lot of sellers, so it's low competition. There's actually not a lot of reviews. That they're all pretty much under 100 except for this one. But there's just not enough sales. Monthly sales are too low, revenue is too low. So make sure that your product has what I would like to say is will bold, italic, underline, highlight, over. Oh, I put the color. Oops. Here we go. Try that again. What are you doing? I'm sorry, guys. Okay, now we lost the highlighter. Great. Over $5,000 in revenue for top 7 sellers. So if we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we would want to see that all of these, it doesn't have to be in that order. They could be, one down here, one over here. But we want to see at least 7 sellers doing more than 5,000 in revenue. Kind of just shows us that there's enough demand for this product that we can come in and do similar numbers to that. Right? You could probably make $100 a day if you have a healthy profit margin there. So that's cool. You want to, in this case, we're not meeting this. So in this case, we definitely were meeting the revenue. We have, I'm not even going to try counting. There's plenty over 5,000 in revenue, but there's way too many sellers. So we want to have, let's see what we've done so far. You want to have low amount of sellers, under 50 sellers, and you want the top 7 to have over 5,000 in revenue. So that shows you that there's a low number of competition, there's a high amount of demand. That's exactly what we're looking for. Somewhere along the line, competition got switched up with reviews, and that's like a common mistake. Competition by nature is how much competition is there, how many competitors are there competing against you. Competition is not how highly rated are your competitors, it's actually how competitive is it, how many people are trying to sell this product. That's just kind of the take I always had on that. So I look more so for markets with a lower number of sellers. And we'll come down to finally the good one. So we could see this is a blank area on Jungle Scout, meaning that there is actually only, how many were here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 different sellers that were actually doing good. And I said there was 39, so I think everyone else was kind of just starting or didn't have really good revenue, and I kind of cut them out here just to kind of exaggerate it, right? Just to make it look like there's less sellers here and kind of give you example of what I'm trying to say. So the least amount of sellers we found yet, 39 sellers, that was 43, this was 428. So we're under 50 sellers, and now let's see the revenue. So just because there's less competitors doesn't mean you have to give up revenue. You could still find products that are doing a very high number in sales, and there's just not a lot of people selling it yet. A lot of the times I find these products in electronics where there's not a lot of people getting in there, and people are like scared to sell electronics. I have 3 electronic products currently selling, and they're some of my best products. I never had an issue with them. I actually have lower return rates on those than some of my non-electronic products. So really, if you have a good instructions manual, you have a quality supplier, you've tested it, there's no reason not to get into those higher barrier to entry categories, and that's usually where you find these things. I don't think I've ever found a market like this in kitchen and dining, because there's a lot of eyes on there. There's people constantly, every day, probably thousands of people going through Jungle Scout, going through Viral Launch, looking for these products. And I have videos. If you don't know how to do product research, you can take my course down below. It's a free course. I don't really need to make money from my course sales. I make plenty of money from selling on Amazon. So you go learn it, everything you need to know down there. There's a spot you could type in how much you want to pay for it if you do want to leave a donation for the free content. But anyway, this is great. We have this is doing So first of all, the reviews are really low. They're all under 100, which is beautiful. There's only 39 sellers, and we have all these people cashing in and doing an amazing amount of sales. So we have 29,000, 15. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 people over 5,000. So we crushed it, 11 out of 7. That doesn't make sense. That's an improper fraction. But we have 11 sellers doing over $5,000 per month. They all have under 100 reviews. So it doesn't matter if you have 2 reviews or if you have, 11 reviews. You could come in and you could make even 3 reviews right here. You could come in and you could still make a lot of money. Sale price is really good. So we have sale prices ranging from $18.99 is the cheapest, which is awesome. I like above 15, all the way up to $37.99. We have some people selling a higher ticket version. I think they were bundling with other things, or maybe it's just higher quality. I don't even remember when I screenshotted these for this video. But if your market looks something like this, rush into that market and make sure you have a great design, because there are still people that are messing this up. Just because you have a great market doesn't mean you're going to do great. Great market is 90% of the work, but you still have to put, I'd say 80%. You still have to put in that 20% of work on the differentiation. Make sure your product, even if you just come in with a lower price, like that's classic Amazon FBA. I don't really recommend doing that, but that in a market like this, that technically would work. You're automatically going to be on page 1, bottom of page 1, just with a fully optimized listing. That's something I'm really pushing right now. I recently just launched 2 different products that had markets similar to this, not quite as high a revenue. I don't think there's anyone doing 30,000, but it was more in the 15 to 5 range. And I haven't even turned on PPC yet, and I don't know if I'm going to, because they're both launching and getting upwards of 10 sales a day with no ads, just an optimized listing. So I literally have no advertising cost, which is amazing. That's what everyone strives for. And the thing that people don't understand about Amazon is built to bring traffic to your listing. Somewhere along the line, people got caught up and started worrying about, how do I launch? What's the best software to do this? What's that? Find a market where there's not a lot of sellers, bring a very high quality product to that market, and then optimize your listing with great keywords. Amazon will bring the customers to you. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Hopefully this was a little bit helpful for you, at least if it was even a little bit helpful, that's all you could ask for, right? Something I picked up on a couple months back. I wanted to really bring this to you guys. If you guys are enjoying the free content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget you could enter the giveaway as well. I'm going to go do some work, guys. Hopefully you had a great beginning to your week. It's hump day currently. Hump day. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I'm going to go. I'm going to finish drinking my kombucha and get some more work done. So I'll see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Later, guys.